Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Joseph Fox. I'm an Associate Professor of Practice at the University of Akron in the Department of Management. I also serve as the Director of our Fitzgerald Institute for Entrepreneurial Studies. And so today I wanted to talk about an entrepreneurial topic, and that is the rise of no-code tools and platforms in the space. So there's a lot of times when entrepreneurs or people that are very entrepreneurial have an idea, but they don't necessarily have all the technical skills to make that come together and happen themselves. And so usually you're kind of thinking, well, what do I do in this situation? What's the best way for me to move forward? So entrepreneurs, they take advantage of a couple of different types of behaviors, and they gravitate towards a couple of different things in the day-to-day life that they have. And one of those is a bias towards entrepreneurial action. See, one of the major components of entrepreneurship is you're facing uncertainty. If you develop a new product or service and no one's ever seen it before, you're not really certain how the market will react until they actually hold it in their hands or experience it for the first time. So there's a lot of uncertainty around other factors as well. How do I price this product? How do I actually set something up that people want? How am I to get the suppliers in place to make this happen? So there's a lot of information asymmetry that's out there because you just don't know as an entrepreneur in many cases what is exactly going to happen. One strategy, and kind of in mind with entrepreneurial action, is to use something called rapid prototyping to create a solution, get it into the hands of a few people in your market, let them play around with it, and see, what should I change based on their feedback. So there's a lot of interesting tools that we have available to us, whether we're really a high-tech entrepreneur or a really low-tech entrepreneur, that might be really helpful. And one of those I'm going to talk about today is from the no-code tools, or no-code family of tools, and it's called Glide apps. There's a lot of different applications like this out there. You can find what works best for you, but the one I'm going to talk about is actually a tool that you can create an app from a Google spreadsheet in just a couple of minutes. So it is actually a really interesting kind of tool. It's not necessarily always going to create some enterprise-grade, highly scalable solution, but if you're looking to create a good prototype or make something just work, this can be a great solution to check out. So there's a number of different things you can do to get started, but I'm going to go ahead and go into my account and look at a couple of the things that I've been playing around with using this platform. Glide has a lot of tools for you to use. They have tutorials down here we can see in the Learn function. There's also a wide number of templates that you can use to actually get a jump start on what you'd like to build to get started. So if we look at the templates, these are built by other people. Some are by Glide, others are by other creators in the space. And so if you're looking to build something that can help take attendance, whether it's a class or some other type of event you're putting on, you can create some kind of a template using Glide apps doing that. A basic expense reporter. So whether you're doing some personal type of budgeting or you have a small business that you're looking to track your expenses with, this could be really useful. So let's preview that one. I'm going to load this up and you can see this basic interface. And when we actually look at one of these templates, it's easy for us to see, okay, this is what my app is going to look like. And there's a bunch of different things that I can actually change, and I've got the ability to change. So I'm going to go ahead and go back here, and I'm going to look at an app that I have already created that actually keeps track of a few different resources. So I'm in one of the apps that I have built a little bit around, and this is looking at some of the resources that are available to entrepreneurs in Northeast Ohio. It's not an exhaustive list, but I'm just going to break down how Glide works a little bit. So you can see the first page that someone would see when they open this application, and this is just a list of these different resources that are available. And you can click on one of these, and there's going to be a brief description, and there's going to be some other different elements and data points that I've input that are pulled up and someone can actually view. So we'll talk about that and how we actually build that in a second. I've also, I've set this up in a style that's more of a list. You can see here on the right hand side, for each of these tabs that we have, each screen, each main screen, we can select a different style, which changes the way that we actually display this information. If we change to compact, you'll see it's a more tightly compacted list. We can change it to tiles, maybe if we have great images. You can create a calendar if you have some kind of event. You can see that that's not going to work for what I have set up. Even a map listing, if you have locations that are attached to these descriptions in some way. If you have more of a task type of application you want to build, you can have a task view. So whatever it might be, there's a lot of different ways for you to quickly change that. You can see a button click was able to change it for me really, really fast. So for each element, we also can see that these things are attached to some data point that I have elsewhere. And this is where that spreadsheet comes into play. This is referencing a Google Sheet that I've already created. And I'm going to click this button, Edit Sheet, to bring this up. And you can see how this is structured. This app is built on different columns named that are containing different information. So each column has a different type of information, and each row is going to have a different record pertaining to that type of listing. So, and then down here, each of these tabs is going to correspond with each of the screens that I have in my application itself. So I'll go back to Glide, and we can see here that these companies and these organizations that I have listed, they're also being pulled, and their information from these different columns are being pulled in the appropriate place inside of the application itself. So, this is just a quick introduction. I just want to show you what this kind of tool is capable of. There's some great examples that are out there that people have been making in response to the pandemic. There are some that are able to connect with, healthcare providers and other organizations like that. I adapted one template to look and see how businesses that were looking to go from in-person to online could better connect their sales team with people who are wanting to be a customer. So I have a template for that I actually have put together here as well. So you can see there's just a basic description about the company itself. There's a listing of fake team members that you can actually click and connect with. You can start a chat. You can actually click to connect to a video call and book a time from that perspective. So you can make very simple applications and far more advanced applications using this kind of tool. There's a lot of free features in Glide. You can make a lot of things for free. There's also pro features as well that you can actually use to generate money. So you can run e-commerce apps. You can run all kinds of other type of applications as well. So the rise of no-code applications, it's not necessarily going to solve the issue for every person who has an app-based idea that needs some really scalable, huge app. But if you're looking for a way to make a quick prototype to say, this is what it's probably going to look like, this can be a good place to start. It's also very fun, to use and interact with. So it's not going to replace coding, but it does give you another useful tool to quickly put together a prototype and start to gather some feedback, especially if you talk with a couple people who might be key customers and they can say, I like this, I don't like this, here are some of the ways that might better serve my needs. So that's what I've got, to show for this recording. And so let me know if you've got any questions. I'm happy to help. There's a lot of no-code tools that are out there. Glide Apps is just one of many. Bubble.io is another. Zapier is a connector application that a lot of people use in no-code tools. Webflow, there's a lot. So, and they keep growing in popularity as well. I think in a similar vein, there's a couple that you can build apps based on PowerPoint decks or PowerPoint slides of some kind. So there's a lot of things out there. So if you have an app-based idea or something that you can create around, you might want to try one of these things out and just see how it might work out for you. Have a good day.